said, there's been an accident. The doctor had one look at the little baby. He said, I'm sorry, he's dead. And I lost my nephew. My brother's only youngest child. And I want to say to you, I don't know who you are that's listening to this, but I want to tell you that without God, you won't survive something like this. You won't make it. And we put his little body on a stretcher and put it in a side room. And at that moment, the biggest test of my life happened. My brother walked up the steps into the hospital. And I'll never forget, he had his hands up in the air. Where's my baby? Where's my boy? And I had to say, your son is with Jesus.
I'm sorry for you.
And he broke down and he wept.
I'm sorry.
And I said, sorry. You know, it's a useless word, eh? Sorry. So sorry. I just kept saying sorry. I didn't know what else to say. I got in the back of the car and we drove home. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. I'll never forget. I walked out to those mealies. Hey, on my own. Man, I cried out to God. I said, God. I said, I'll give you the farm, the shirt off my back. I'll work for the rest of my life. If I can give Alistair back to his daddy. I felt the Lord saying, Angus, I'm sovereign in his mind. And I didn't eat for 6 days. I couldn't eat. I wasn't fasting. I just couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep at night. And I was wide awake. My alarm clock goes off at 4 o'clock every morning. I have my quiet time up in my farm office. I used to run up to that office. Get into that office and open the Word, and Jesus would feed me every day, just like the ravens fed Elijah. Every day I got a bit stronger. You know that the whole district came out to offer their condolences. One man wanted to take my gun away from me. I've got a double-barrel shotgun I use for shooting vermin. He thought I was going to commit suicide. I said to him, I'm a Christian, I won't take my life. But slowly but surely, the Lord started to restore me. My brother had a dream 3 months later. Clear dream. Little Alistair was running across a field of emerald green grass. And he was saying, Dad, I don't want to come back there. I'm waiting for you in heaven. And I'm waiting for Auntie Angus. And I really believe he is waiting for me. And if you die before me, you might see a little 4-year-old blue-eyed little boy standing at the pearly gates, and he'll be asking you, how's Auntie Angus? And I hope you can tell him I'm still preaching the gospel.
My little boy didn't die in vain. He's touched so many hearts and brought so many people to Jesus. And I think for Joanne and myself and my girls, it's a great solace to us that we know that, we know where he is. He's certainly healed us.
Meanwhile, the community at Shalom was continuing to grow, and with many new challenges. People were slowly becoming aware of a shattering pandemic, HIV/AIDS. This disease was ravaging South Africa, in particular KwaZulu-Natal. Thousands of families were without breadwinners, struggling to survive, and orphans were a common occurrence. The plight of these abandoned children affected Angus deeply, and he prayed for a practical way to help.
What happened was we heard there were some old prefabs at the Greytown High School that they were going to chuck away, demolish and chuck away. And we went there and we said, don't worry, we'll demolish them for you. And we took them apart and we came and we resurrected them on the farm. That's how we started our children's home. Don't wait for R1 million in the bank before you start your project. Start it by faith, and God will add to it.
It was decided to call the children's home Beth Hatlehem, which in Hebrew means the house of lambs. Starting off with just 2 or 3 children, the children's home continues to grow.
We now have 23 children, and what a joy they are to us. Our oldest boys now, 16 years old, they all came to us as little babies. And they've grown up into lovely young men. And we have lost 10 of our babies have gone to be with Jesus because some of our children have AIDS. But they are all AIDS victims. They don't all have AIDS. And what we've done now, we started off in a dormitory system, which wasn't ideal, but it was better than children sleeping underneath culverts, in drain pipes, and out in the open sniffing glue. We've now got houses where we put 6 children to 1 house mother. And the bonding is amazing. Each house is individual, and they're little families on the farm. Our vision is to go up to 180 children. That's our vision. At the moment we have 23, and they are beautiful children, and we are about to start building again.
A natural extension of the Beth Hatleen project was to get involved at Halalisani, the local farm school where the orphan children attended. Angus and Jill have been managers of the school since 1989. As they partnered with the government's educational department, the school has grown from strength to strength, with the addition of a library and several computers, and boasts an impressive range of sports to participate in. Hosting over 200 pupils, Halalisani even won a prize for the best rural school.
That year, all the farmers were warned that El Nino was coming to South Africa. And I was fasting and praying. I saw 2 fish eagles circling on top, almost as a sign from God. It's time to get together in South Africa and pray for peace. And the Lord impressed upon my heart Kings Park, as it was known then, the Absa Rugby Stadium. Now that's huge. That's a 54,000-seater stadium. And straight away I started cringing. And the Lord laid on my heart, Angus, you take the first step and I'll follow through. And I went down to Kings Park Rugby Stadium. I tried to book the stadium. I wasn't having much joy with Alan Kruger. Michael Jackson was coming to Kings Park Rugby Stadium the following month, and he was pretty tied up. I said, Alan, we need the stadium. He said, you can have the one next door. It's a municipal stadium. You can have it for nothing. I said, no, God said Kings Park. And with that, we booked Kings Park Rugby Stadium. And that was the start of one of the biggest events in our lives, the Kings Park Peace Gathering. And we had 25,000 people there in 2 meetings. And God moved sovereignly in that place. Friends, we are just country folk. This here is my agricultural manual. This is the book that tells me when to plant mealies and when to harvest them. All the farmers were warned that El Nino was coming to South Africa. El Nino is this drought thing that comes from South America and comes right around the world. And I was so full of the joy of the Lord and so full of the Holy Ghost, and I know that my God is a good God. I said, chaps, to hell with El Nino. Now, it's a funny thing. You say something like that, and you get Christians contacting you and saying, how can you be so disrespectful? I said, disrespectful to who? I said, the devil's going to hell, and El Nino's going with him.
And I know that God answers the prayers of his people. And that's why this year, at this time, we're going back. We're going to plant potatoes.
Now, I've never planted a potato in my life. You know, if you know anything about farming, it's a very technical crop because it's a very expensive crop. So I said, to hell with El Nino, we're going back, and we leased the farm across the road, and we doubled up everywhere. My neighbor was so concerned about it, he came and he pleaded with me not to grow potatoes. He says, Angus, it's going to be a drought year. You know nothing about potatoes and you haven't got any irrigation. What are you going to do? I said, the Lord told us to do it, and we're going to do it.